there, Troy here from Green Dragon Technology. So last night I got an email from a lady from YouTube, Miss Susan Cotton, and she asks, could you please help me with an issue I keep having with my laptop computer? How do I put in the insert mode when I'm typing an email or online? I know how to do this in Microsoft Word, and everywhere else I seem to have trouble with it, like filling out forms for my job applications on the web pages. Basically that feature's been turned off in Firefox and Google Chrome and probably Internet Explorer and Edge as well. That being said, there is a kind of a workaround. Here, let me bring up Google Chrome, for example. So I'm on my website here, and so here's a form. It's where people can write us here. Fill out your name, email address, and message here. So let me just put in some text here. And so if I wanted to highlight a word, I could overtype it. For example, I misspelled the word text here. I put test. Let me go ahead and double click that, and I'll type in text. So that's kind of like an insert mode. Pushing the insert button on the keyboard doesn't do any good for this. It's been disabled. But you can double click a word and overtype it. That's also true for a paragraph, but you don't double click, you actually triple click. For example, I can triple click there. Now the whole thing's highlighted. And that can be useful as well when you're doing a whole paragraph. Like up here, if I want to highlight this whole thing, I can try to highlight it here like that, and that can be a little tricky sometimes, but if I can triple click inside here, I've got the whole thing. And then from there, I can certainly copy and paste. I can right-click and hit copy, and then I can come over here and maybe right-click and hit paste. And for those who don't know, here, let me do a Control-A to select all and backspace to get rid of that. I love using hotkeys or shortcuts on the keyboard here. So another example, let me triple-click these, and I can do a Control-C, which is a copy, and come down here and do a Control-V, like Victor, to paste. This is the same thing as right-clicking and selecting paste. For me, it's just a lot faster because I can do Control-A to select all, Control-C to copy, Control-V to Victor. To paste. I use that function all the time. So that's just an example here. Okay, she also writes, how can I do an autofill into some applications and forums online? Sometimes I can on some things, and others I can't. What she's talking about is when you type in a forum like this here, type in your name, your email address, maybe your home address, even your credit card information. Of course, that's a security issue, but to answer that, what I use, there's a program called LastPass. You can go to lastpass.com. I'll just bring that up real quick. And it's designed to keep all of your passwords together. I've used the free one in the past. I haven't used the free one in a long time. I paid for the premium version. It's only $1 a month, billed annually. It's $12 a year. It's very inexpensive. And with that, you also get the smartphone application as well. And the idea is it'll sync up all your passwords. You sign up. It syncs up all your passwords from all your browsers, and then basically you set up one master password. And so, to be honest, as many passwords as you use, as I use, I can't remember them all. Some of them change quite often. So I use this utility. I've got one master password that unlocks them all. It's extremely safe and secure. I don't need to remember all my passwords. I can quite easily right-click on a form as I'm signing into something. I can open up the LastPass plugin there. It's right on the screen, and it just fills out the information for me. Oftentimes, too, if I'm filling out a form that's got my name, my email address, my home address or my work address, it'll just autofill that stuff in there as well, which is incredibly convenient. And what I find is that usually when it inserts into the forms then turn from usually white to a yellow. That's just the plugin working, and it's telling me that that plugin has inserted that information into the form. And so that gives me a visual of what's been done. So maybe I didn't really want to use my home address, I really want to use my work address. That gives me the opportunity to go in there and change it at that point. So Susan, to answer your question, that's what I use is LastPass.com. Play around the free version. I urge you to use the premium version. It's incredibly useful and very inexpensive anyways. I've been using it for years, never had any security issues, got nothing but good things to say about it. Okay, and finally she asks, somehow thinking my left hand wrist keeps doing something that's constantly keeps changing my screen size on me, and keeps opening a Cortana. So basically what's going on is you're typing on your laptop and your wrist is hitting the trackpad inadvertently as you're typing. And even some of the newer laptops, they're very sensitive, and you're just typing along and you don't even have to be touching it. You can be really close to it and it can go ahead and act like you're holding down a shift key or something, and then you're typing or scrolling, and then things will change on the screen because it's like you're hitting a key on the keyboard and everything's getting messed up. So every laptop's different. There usually is a way to disable the trackpad on the keyboard, the touchpad on the keyboard. Not all make and models have that option, but a lot of them will. A lot of times there'll be a button on there right next to it. Sometimes there's a soft key, and I'll throw up some examples here in a second. Maybe your laptop doesn't have any of that stuff. Mine doesn't, and so I did find a workaround for that. There's a program called Touchpad Blocker that I've used before, and I looked up the address here. Let me look at touchpad blocker.com. Okay, and it's actually a free program. You can donate to it, but you can certainly download for free. Like I said, I've been using this in the past. I installed this on some of my clients' computers when they have problems. Let me go ahead and install this real quick, and I'll show you how this works. Okay, so let me close that out. It's a very lightweight program. It's designed to auto-run at startup, so you don't have to worry about it. It's already running. Okay, so go ahead and uncheck this report installing the website. They just want feedback. How many people are installing it? No big deal. So let me hit finish. Okay, so it is now installed, and basically you don't really need to touch anything. The idea here, let me read this to you. The program blocks accidental clicks while typing on a notebook keyboard. It can also enable and disable a touchpad using a keyboard shortcut. And so it makes it less sensitive. So as you're typing along, it's less likely to trigger that activation of saying, hey, I want to use the touchpad. So this is going to help desensitize it a little bit, make it less sensitive. Hopefully that'll help you out. It also has a neat feature here. It does have the option here. Let me go ahead and mark this. Enable, disable touchpad. And so with that, I can now, using these commands here, Control Alt F9, look at my keyboard, Control Alt F9. If I click on that or type in that sequence there, it will disable my touchpad. And I've tested that and it works. Also, hopefully you can see this. Yeah, and so it's running now. If I right click over here on the icon, you can just manually, if you forget the keystrokes here, you can just hit disable touchpad. If I do that and I go over to my touchpad, it's not going to move. And so that is a software way of turning that off, which makes things incredibly useful sometimes. So Susan, I'm glad you wrote me. I appreciate that. Hopefully this information will help you out. Feel free to write me any more questions you have. For the rest of you, feel free to write me as well. I'm going to open up my email address for this. It's greendragonpc@gmail.com. Feel free to write me any questions you have. I'll do my best to answer them. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.